So before watching this week's episode of Golden Kamuy, I actually was thinking about how I really want to focus back on Sugimoto's gang because Sugimoto's just my favorite character of the show, or at least one of my favorite characters, and his group is the most fun usually. There's a lot of jokes, there's a lot of just humorous moments overall whenever you focus in on that group of goofballs and lunatics. So I'll be honest, seeing the surprise of actually focusing in on their group for a majority of the episode, there's only a little bit on Asirpa's side, was honestly a great feeling. It was something that I was like, okay, we're gonna clearly have some fun, and then very quickly the snow squall watch took place and they were trapped in a blizzard, and this was honestly frightening. They focused so little over the past couple of weeks on Sugimoto's gang that I was like, okay, if you're trapping them in a snowbank where their fire isn't even going to stay warm enough or long enough to warm them up, that they have to use these very cool techniques of burying it and basically making a heated mattress of the ground as you curl up with your snow puppies, and if you fall asleep you'll probably die. I was expecting one of these three to die. My money was on the kid, if anything, because I wouldn't feel like Sugimoto was going to go out just yet. Sugimoto, I feel like, has to make it to the end just because of the goal and dream that he does have overall. But I felt like we were building up to a death, I have to be completely honest. It just didn't feel good. I mean, they went above and beyond with the animation in terms of the snow. Snow animation, I generally think, is one of the easier aspects to nail about weather. When you have fire, when you have thunderstorms, other aspects like rain and things like that, they can be a lot more hard to animate into matching what you would see. If you walk out on your balcony or your front porch, wherever it is, and you see a giant rainstorm, the detail to the rain is very hard to mimic, especially in animation. So snow is a bit easier because you just gotta do some white dots, right? The thing is Golden Kamuy went definitely above and beyond. From the frozen lips, you see how chapped they are, and the fact that it feels like they're so thirsty that it feels like even if they wanted to drink, they probably couldn't because of how cold it would go down their throat. It'd probably freeze them. It was very hard to see in front of them. It was honestly felt like we were a part of the scene and we were shivering alongside these characters. They went so above and beyond that they turned what I thought to be an impossible scene to mess up. If you're trapped in the snow, if you're messing up snow scenes, you probably are doing a lot of things wrong in your production. But not only did they do what I expected and hoped they could, they went above and beyond and created one of the most visceral and dynamic scenes yet. Trapped in the snow and just clinging on to life, and if it wasn't for that lighthouse being conveniently there, and just so happened they got to keep their lighthouse just because this mother and father lost their daughter out of good measure, they would have died. All three would have died, and that's really frightening. Even though you can argue, oh, there was no chance Sugimoto was going to die. In a show like this, that does feel so centered around Sugimoto and Asirpa, I feel like either one of them could die at any time. And that's a great feeling for a show that tries to be as brutal as it is. And don't get me wrong, this show is funny, it's absolutely hilarious, but this was an episode that didn't make me laugh at all. There was a couple of moments where I felt like they were trying to at least ease the tension, but honestly, it felt like life or death, especially considering how last week our boy wasn't looking good. I was like, are they building up to a death here? And then with this episode, I was like, are we building up to a death here? And they do this really great analogy between these mountain cats and our boy, and I can't say they're all that wrong. I feel like whenever they do meet up again, and I feel like they will meet up again before the end of Season 3, there's gonna be bloodshed. Had a sneaking suspicion that Sugimoto would probably do something bad when he does catch up to the group that has Asirpa, but at the same time, I never thought they would fully commit to it. After watching this week's episode, I do feel like if anyone says the wrong thing, Sugimoto is gonna bash some faces in, or he's gonna get shot, or something else. I mean, just the idea of when they were in that trench there and him getting a flashback to his friend, and then just obviously getting all the mountain cat analogies and just getting people throwing it in his face like, does this sound like someone you know? And he's very afraid to admit it, and he's also very scared that the people keeping Asirpa close to them, it just doesn't feel good. It feels like they're probably going to be doing a lot of bad things, and I feel like also with Sugimoto, he's probably very worried that by the time they do reach up, will she even need him, or will she want to side with them? There's a lot of things probably racing through this guy's mind. But it's very nice to see the core characteristics of a man like Sugimoto, someone who was going JoJo punches a few weeks back, to having such a great moment of honor. These people saved their life. If it wasn't for their daughter being taken, that lighthouse wouldn't have been able to save them. So he asked for a picture, so in their journey, it's not going to take too much effort. If you're already showing a picture of Asirpa, you can show a picture of a daughter. We will try to find your daughter, and if by somehow she comes to you, show her my picture, which of course was funny, it was goofy, it's Sugimoto, and that was like one of the few comedic value moments this episode had. But it goes to show you how good of a person this is, and it does feel like the group has been split up into such a way where each side have morally ambiguous characters that really the only two you can trust side by side is Asirpa and Sugimoto at this point in time. Everyone else, you never know what they're going to say or do, whether that's good or bad for your current objective. It is very interesting, though, to see just the amount of pain that was in this episode. There was 2 gunshots in this episode. I think there's only 2 or 3, give or take, and none of it was to attack people. It was to fire shots in the air in hopes to find the people that you were separated from. Yet it felt like this was the greatest and most dangerous battle. We just came off a brilliant sniper battle. So what do you do to up the ante? Well, you fight Mother Nature. You fight a snowstorm where you can't see a foot in front of you and you don't know where your allies are. Your dogs will probably be fine, but you're going to freeze to death if you fall asleep. Your heart will go too low and you will die. That is how you up the game. And I imagine with how everything transpired in this episode, getting an idea of the leader of Kiro's group, who is this like big boss woman who scares the living shit out of me, who just so happens to have the girl of the family that Sugimoto is looking for, there is going to be a confrontation, I think, unlike any other. I feel like this is going to be the meetup spot for both groups, because I don't see someone like Asirpa not interacting with this whole shenanigans going on. Sugimoto will obviously meet up with them. Maybe they'll just skate by again, but still, it feels like we're building up to something like that, and it's going to be bloodshed. If somehow this group reforms without a bullet being fired, a knife being swung at someone's neck, or a fist in someone's face, I will be shocked. I wouldn't be disappointed. Like, this is a show that always says, if we're doing something, we're doing it for a reason, so I would never say, oh, if there's not bloodshed, it's horrible, let's drop the show. But it does feel like that's what they're trying to get us to understand, that there is no room for peace talks anymore, and Sugimoto has one objective and one objective only: to rip this girl away from these lunatics, as he does not trust them, and he probably doesn't trust most of the people he's with currently. I did like the one moment, though, with the dog, because the dog on the one sled tried to pull away, and it kind of looked like they screwed him over. But it's nice to get that little cute moment where it's like, oh, you know, this is actually really going to be a great sled dog. The dog was trying to keep up with the other sled. So it goes to show you that, you know, simple things like a dog that's traveling with you is a good loyal boy, the best of boys, can even have some importance in an episode filled with so much drama and despair. Really, I think in terms of what I've seen so far this season, granted there isn't a whole lot of winter-like scenes, I doubt we're going to see a better winter fiesta of horror than what we just saw in Golden Kamuy. It's very rare you even get to see blizzards in anime, so when you do get them and they're actually directed to be life or death, you have to take the time to appreciate it, because it definitely does shake up everything you know and what you want to see. We got a little Hina in this episode, not too much, didn't actually say Hina, but I mean, when you look at the grub they were eating, it's no surprise that you're getting some Hinas in from your stomach as well. It was just a very adrenaline-pumping episode, and to have characters just lay down in a snowbank and feel like it's so exhilarating, it goes hand in hand with the sniper battle, just sitting in almost one location waiting for that one shot, that one kill. The exact same formula is working. Golden Kamuy is a jack of all trades. It can do any style of anime and work so well, and the past few episodes have all been about the slow burn, and I would argue it's some of the most intense content Golden Kamuy has seen over 3 seasons. Amazing episode, I love it, I can't wait to see more. Shame we only got 5 more episodes before we hopefully wait for season 4, but it's the beauty of Golden Kamuy for you, it always leaves you wanting more. Let me know your thoughts and feelings out down below. What did you think? And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like to show your support and hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.